at the end of the day, hurt people hurt people. And
Absolutely.
I never understood that until I got into relationships and dealing with people. And a lot of times we don't understand that.
So, you know, all girls are well, you know, all girls are the
What's up, everybody on Facebook? We are 5 minutes to the wind down. First time doing it on Facebook, so I hope you are getting your friends, letting them know we are live. I'm trying to get my friends on right now so I can let them know we are live on Facebook for the wind down for the first time, and we have 5 minutes to wind down. What's up, everybody? I see we got a couple people coming on. Come on. We are having the wind down on Facebook for the first time. I'm excited. It's your first time having wind down on Facebook. 3 minutes to the wind down. What up, Trine?
Hey.
I gotta get my volume together because I can't hear you that good.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah. Maybe turn your volume up some.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my stuff set up a little bit better. Welcome to the wind down. 3 minutes to the wind down. I hope you got your glasses full. Trina,
we ready.
What's the word of the night, Trina? To the wind
Your
down.
hair look good, friend.
Thank you. I ain't done nothing to it, girl. Thank you, though. I'm gonna untwist it when I get out there. I got my glasses today, honey. It's been a rough day. You know, you hear me?
It has definitely been a day.
Okay.
I had
our keynote speaker is on right now.
Definitely been a day.
You got your glass full yet?
No, girl, I ain't got nothing to wind down with, and I need it.
Well,
I had got a peach lemonade, and I was gonna go ahead and hit that thing with some tequila, but then somebody got my lemonade and just drunk it up. I said, well, I'm happy I didn't put the tequila in there.
Hey, we are 1 minute to the wind down kicking off. What up, Sharonda, sister in the building? What's happening, sis? Let your friends know we are live. 1 minute to the wind down. And what is the word for the night, Trey?
I don't know. I said respect, but I don't know. Ask the viewers. I don't know. Get some ideas. I'm just thinking off of what we might be talking about, something that might come up a few times.
What up, Ladora? Ladora is one of my real estate partners representing Las Vegas. Welcome to the wind down. Happy to have you here tonight. Who already drunk? Hey, word of the night. What about relationships? How does that sound?
Sound like a plan to me. Mm-hmm.
It's 5:30. Wind down kicking off. I already had me a couple sips of my red Moscato. That's what I'm drinking tonight.
Red Moscato.
What up, Ivory? Welcome to the wind down. Good to have you back. Wind down relationships. Hey, for those of you who are new to the wind down, because this is our first time doing wind down on Facebook. We are excited to bring wind down to the Facebook crew, and we hope you guys become a part of our wind down family. But for those of you who are new, what up, Siobhan? The word for today is relationship. So every time you hear the word relationship, you got to take a sip of your wine. And if you are in the audience and you hear the word relationship, make sure that you type relationship in the comments so that everybody can see it and they can enjoy a drink of wine. Bay on wine. What up, Bay? Because on Facebook, that's the only way you coming. I don't like you. You're supposed to be my friend, ride or die. But tonight, Trina, we're about to have a fantastic conversation. I'm so excited about tonight.
Me too. I'm excited because, sometimes topics may not cover everybody, but I feel like this topic, everybody's going to have something that they can chime in about or ask questions about. So I feel like it's going to get good and juicy. I'm ready.
Yeah. Relationships affect everybody, whether it's a breakup with your man or woman or your best friend, your sister or your brother. Relationships affect everybody. So welcome everybody to the Wind Down. Y'all can't see it, but I got on my Beyonce shirt today. I got on my Beyonce shirt today, you know, because Beyonce is the queen bee. She breaking records. Grammy, got the most Grammys in the world. What up? Hey, Raven. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate y'all for coming to the Wind Down. I know you don't drink, but I hope Raven got her wine. Oh, we said it 2 times, Siobhan. I'm going to go ahead and drink 2 times then. Hey, but we got a very special guest coming on tonight, Nikita. Man, I'm excited to hear her. I can't stand you. I didn't get my tickets yet, but I'm gonna get them, Ivory. We going to see Beyonce. We going to the concert. I decided we go do whatever we gotta do.
Y'all just face by y'all there so I can feel like I'm there too.
I'll do what I can do. We doing whatever we can to get these tickets. But we are going to see Beyonce because I got to after she won the most Grammys. Come on now, she needs me. Okay. She don't. I need her. But then I need to shout out LeBron James. Did you watch the game last night?
No, I didn't. I didn't see the game, but I saw the highlights. You know, I'm a highlights person.
Yeah.
Get me to the point. Get me to the meat.
Man,
he did that.
Now, didn't I say y'all would end up going? I mean, everybody know it's hard for me to miss a Beyonce, and I was trying to be fiscally responsible because I've been on my budget grind lately. But I feel like I budgeted for this moment.
Okay.
Right? For this Beyonce moment. So yeah, we going. What up, Charity from the Philippines? For y'all that don't know, we international on the Wind Down. We happy to have you. Military connections take people all around the world. So welcome to the Wind Down. Yes, Mel, we are doing it on Facebook tonight because tonight this conversation is so important. I wanted it to reach as many people as we can reach together, the 3 of us, me, Train, and our very special guest, Nikita, who will be joining us in just a few minutes. She's on right now while we warming y'all up. But yeah, shout out to LeBron, shout out to LeBron, shout out to Beyonce, Black Excellence, Black History Month. What else can we say about it?
Thank you.
Hey, and for y'all that don't know, I often drink, you know, without the word being said. And you can too. You don't have to wait for the word to move you.
Feel free to be on your own accord.
The word of the day is relationships. The word of the day is relationships. Where did she just send me? We going to. Oh, the word of the day is relationship. So whenever you hear the word relationship, make sure that you have your wine. It is Wind Down Wednesday. And we have a very, very, very special conversation that I would like all of you guys to come on and be a part of. Let me turn down this Fantasia. Y'all probably can't hear it, but I got it on. But a very, very special conversation, and I want you guys to give us a lot of y'all energy, a lot of conversation in the chat. Do not hold back because we want to hear what you got to say. Deborah just been in our relationship. She's trying to get me drunk tonight, but I brought the bottle upstairs, baby, so I'm ready. So tonight, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest, our keynote speaker tonight, Miss Nikita. I've been knowing Nikita, man, we couldn't even identify the moment we met. I just know it's been a whole lot of years. And she continued to bless people throughout Douglasville area. She continued to speak life, and she continues to mentor people and uplift people. And today I'm excited to be able to have her here with us. I get Nikita on. She is coming on so we can have this very special conversation. Again, it is not too late to tell your friends that we are live on Facebook tonight. What up, girl?
Hey.
Look at how beautiful. Look at how beautiful.
Yeah, you better come through.
She came through.
Oh, don't play with her.
Okay.
Y'all said it's Wind Down Wednesday, so I can't play.
Yeah, she better swing that. Shoot, I'm gonna swing mine.
Oh yes, girl, swing your your dreads, baby. Swing, look, come on, swing them, honey.
Hey,
Swing.
Nikita, welcome to the WineDown. I'm ecstatic to have you here. We've been talking about this for a few months, and I'm really, really excited. But can you introduce yourself to the WineDown crew? Just tell them a little bit about yourself.
I am Nikita Adell. You guys can follow me on Facebook or follow me on Instagram. I am in Adell or Brown Sugar 1403. I have known these beautiful ladies for well over 20 plus years. I am a mom of 2 and some bonus kids. Actually, I'm an ordained minister. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I've been in ministry since I was basically a teenager, serving, helping, mentoring people. We had a phenomenal youth program called Club VFL that many people came through, and I was one of the leaders there. Woo, 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 woo. But yeah, it's, you know, I'm me. You know, I'm a type of person where I like to keep it real. I like to keep it 100. Hey, I live on faith, and that's all I can say. And I am so proud of these 2 young ladies. You guys just don't understand. And I just want to say thank you guys for having me on here tonight.
Thank you for being here. And I talked to Nikita last night because everybody know I'm a woman who respect people, and she authorized communion today. So
hey, Jesus bless the wine. I don't have my glass, but I would have. So, you know, I was trying to be on time. Like, I ain't judging nobody. Hey, brother. I ain't judging nobody because I will take a sip. Don't get it twisted.
Earl was on the WineDown with us a couple of months ago, sharing his vision, his victories, and we were so excited just to be able to share that moment with him. We got a lot of people doing a lot of great things, and I'm blessed to have them in my circle and to have them, you know, to be a part of what we're trying to do. And for those of you who don't know, what we're trying to do on WineDown is continue to uplift and educate our community, bring on talented individuals who are connected and respected in their industries, and bring that information to you guys so that we can just uplift each other and become better as a unit. So that's why we're here today, to talk about relationships. So Nikita, I know you've had your share of experiences as it relates, and you have a very, very handsome young man as it relates to your recent, I don't know how long ago,
ancient.
But yeah. Can you talk
My son is
getting
ready to be 19, so about 17 years. So yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that, that, and also just about co-parenting and why you feel like this topic was so important today?
Well, like I said, you guys need to actually follow me on Facebook to actually catch up to some of the lives that I did about co-parenting. One thing that happened when my ex-husband and I got a divorce was we communicated with each other what we wanted for our family dynamics and what that would look like for our son. We didn't end on the best of terms, but actually everything worked out for our good. And why? Because we were mature about the situation. And I say 3 things. You need to heal, you need to communicate, and you need to have faith and trust that, you know, despite your situations, there is a child in the mix of it. And what are we going to do about that? So I get this all the time from people like, how do you do it? I do have a beautiful daughter, Paris. And, you know, they're always like, you know, how do you do it? Your situation is so unreal. You guys can go over each other's houses. You guys have graduation parties together. You guys can go out of town together. And when I say together, my ex-husband is now married. I am in a wonderful relationship. And I have a well-rounded, blended family. And my blended family is beautiful. And we all respect each other. And so really, this has been brewing in me for years, because I have people always saying, oh my God, you need to share your story. You need to tell the world, you know, give us the blueprint of what helped you. So that's really what I'm all about, helping people to get through a relationship. So there is hope. You don't have to hold on to what was in your relationship, to your past, and hold your children hostage. Release those kids and communicate for the kids' sake and not for yours.
Absolutely, man.
Beautiful.
If you guys have questions for Nikita throughout the court, add it to the comments, so she will be able to answer them. Make sure your questions get answered. If you have any personal experiences, add it to the comments. But definitely, if you have any questions. So, Nikita, I got a question for you. What are some healthy boundaries that you guys set up to make sure that, you know, y'all relationships stay healthy for the kids?
Okay, so let me just tap into this, and I say it all the time. I am the type of woman that when I'm done with you, I'm done. So it ain't no tiptoeing back. You ain't getting ready to be, you know, running me up through there and then causing an emotional roller coaster. So the main thing was this. When it was over with us, it was over. It's not you coming to my house, I'm coming to your house, because then you're still opening the gates for confusion in your family. So that was the main thing, like saying like, listen, we're no longer together. We're going to set realistic boundaries. We actually met to come and get our son. We had a meeting location, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes he was able to come and get our son from our home and vice versa, but it wasn't no you coming in the house and you gonna sleep over or any of that, because that cut a lot of that unnecessary trauma out, that we're going to go back and forth. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to figure out how we're going to collectively co-parent our son and have him in a healthy environment instead of a toxic environment. That's where people go wrong, is because they continue to leave that door open and they continue to sleep with one another, and then you get mad when really you a jump off. Now you just coming over to get your rocks off, and then vice versa. I'm coming over to bust you down, you coming over to bust me down, but really we still got trauma between the two, and we're not going to be in a relationship, and we're just fooling ourselves to think that we're going to have something when realistically you already know it's over with.
Absolutely. So you are in a very healthy relationship now, and your ex-husband is now married. How did you guys work through that? And what advice would you have if people are struggling with accepting that person moving on?
So let me say this. It was nothing to work through, because we was all the way over by the time he actually got with who he's with now. The beautiful thing is, with my ex-husband being a mature man, he introduced us. He told his now wife what it was and our relationship and our family dynamics. He made her feel comfortable. I made her feel comfortable. Like my relationship, I invite him in and I make him feel comfortable, so that he knows, like, listen, this is not, oh, we it's something between us, but we make our parties feel comfortable. And so for me, I was actually happy for him, because I wasn't a bitter baby mama. I knew that me and him was all the way done, but I did want him to be happy. I did want him to remarry again. And that's important. When you want the other party to be happy, right, that's taking away that toxicity of saying, oh, I don't want you to be happy because we not together. No. We may not have worked out, but that doesn't mean that someone else can't love you and be with you just because me and you had a failed relationship.
And also, it's important for that other person to be happy for the sake of your family. Absolutely. You know, if they walking around miserable. Trina, I want to add you to that. I know you had, you know, a divorce, and I know that you had some contention when it came to moving on and how the other parties may have accepted that. How did you guys eventually work through it, and what advice would you give to anybody who is struggling with, accepting, let me just say this, accepting my kid around that? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
my kid ain't gonna be around those.
Right. And I think Nikita hit it on the head. When you have, number one, clear communication between the originating party, that this is not going to be a situation, we're not going to dabble here and there. That brings that closure that needs to take place in the healing for both people to move on, so that you can set those boundaries in healthy communication. Because unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I have two different sides of this. So I have a ex-husband with, you know, my two daughters, and we have a great working relationship. You know, nothing has ever transpired between us since we signed that paper. So we just communicate well. And some people, I will say, when I started my last relationship, he was very insecure about that because we would communicate about the kids. You can go through my messages. There was nothing sideways, you know, when are you getting the kids for the summer? Things like that, you know. But when you have a partner that is not all the way secure, I would say, those are those signs that might not be the person for you. So I'm just throwing that nugget out there. If there's nothing to be there and they're creating a situation that's not, because you should be able to have healthy conversations with your partner with no problem, as long as there's no boundaries being crossed and there's respect there. So I think that when that does come up, that might be some reflection that needs to happen. Within you, like, is this the right person that I'm bringing on board to introduce, to this blended family lifestyle? Because like you said before, it takes maturity for you to step into a situation that you weren't originally part of. And be accepting. So I think that maturity, respect, and communication are the three pillars to build off of.
Absolutely. I've seen someone pose a question and they said, what did I tell my son? At the moment, my son was probably a year when everything was going on. So he was a baby. So, but it was a hard transition for him because when I changed my home, he was always running to the door crying like, Mommy, I want to go home. And that was hard, and we just had to work through it. But I will say this, my son had questions when he got older, like when he turned probably about 5. He was wondering why Mommy and Daddy wasn't together. And I allowed my husband my ex-husband to explain to him why we weren't together from his point of view. Because I could have gave him my point of view and I could have gave him my truth, which would have been the whole truth. But still, as a man and as the causer, I wanted him to explain to his son exactly what happened so that, he can have an understanding, but also know what not to do when he got older. And my son, he accepted that, and he's loved both of us. And thank God that he had great parents, to be able to bring him up in a way that made him feel comfortable not having both of his parents in the household. But I will say, for anyone who's dealing with this that have older kids, the best thing that you can do for your kids is both of you guys sit them down and have a deep conversation with them and know that this is not going to change anything. You guys still love them. You guys are going to do the best that you can do to co-parent them in a way where it's not going to make their life hard, but it's going to make it easier, and involve them. Not involve them in grown people business, but involve them. Go to counseling. One thing that we don't do is we do not go to counseling. And it's so important for us to get out of that rabbit hole where we can't talk to anybody because we don't want anybody to know our business. But we're dying on the inside. Our kids are dying on the inside, and we need an outlet. So family counseling, wherever you can get it, is very important during that process.
I think you said something very important, because throughout the course we've said a lot about communication back and forth with that other adult, but communicating with those kids is just as important.
Absolutely.
I want to we had a few comments I'm going to read through. Shalice said, stay focused on the most important part, which is having a mutual respect. Yeah, that's very important. Deborah said, me too, girlfriend. And she was talking about when you said you cut them off. Layla is the one that asked the question.
I don't play about
divorcing. Barb said, amen. She laid. Good communication and boundaries. Communication is huge. True. If a partner can respect their kids and co-parent relationship, that's it. Said, Trina, you are going to get someone drunk. You said a relationship a lot. Hey, I'm going to just take a sip to that.
Yeah, y'all going to be real twisted.
Trina, give the kids some sugar. Okay. I'm just coming for the conversation. I appreciate you for pulling up. And then Angel is watching. So I know that we come from a lot of different types of relationships, and not everybody's relationships was bad in their household. But a lot of the times as adults, the kids see you arguing, fighting, and then they see you maybe not talking for a few days, and then they see everything coming back to normal. But I don't think that kids get an opportunity to see that healing, those conversations that you had, to really learn conflict management, conflict resolution. And I think that that's one of the gaps that we do have. And I'm married now. I've never been divorced, thankfully. Don't try nothing. But
I'm done with you.
Don't. She downstairs.
Right.
Don't try it. I'm taking out now. Look. No, but I do feel like that's the gap that we have a lot of times. And I think that's one of the reasons why we are so quick to be like, I'm done. Because, and I'm not saying that's what happened in your relationships, but I think even in our friendship relationships, our relationships with different family members, we quick to be like, I'm done. I'm over it. Because I don't think we really are teaching them what's happening in that middle point after we done cussed each other out to now we back, you know, making love again. Like, how did that work out? And what are your guys' opinions on that, and how we can do that better in our families?
Like we've been saying, communicating, being able to tell somebody how you really feel about whatever they've done to you, their wrongs, not holding people to our own personal crosses. I'm going to say this to you guys. What if God judged you and cut you off like how you cut off people when you make a mistake, when you go off and do something, when you lie about something or do something that you weren't supposed to be doing? We lack compassion for the next person. Now, don't get me wrong. People do some crazy stuff and, you know, they deserve to be cut off, but give a person a reason why. Like, listen, I can no longer be in this toxic relationship with you because it's not an exchange. It's a take. And it has to be an exchange. But when you are in a relationship with somebody, whether it be your friend, family, whomever it is, again, communication is the big part. If we can communicate about it, we can get through anything. So you have to be able to sit down, hear the person out, be able to hear them, not hear what you want to hear, but actually hear them out, hear their heart, hear what they're saying to you, allow somebody to apologize for their mistakes. Don't go into situations like you're perfect, Patty, because none of us are perfect. All of us make mistakes. All of us wish we could take something back we said or did or whatever the case may be. So we can't always go in with a judgmental disposition when it comes down to people, because at the end of the day, hurt people hurt people. And Absolutely. I never understood that until I got into relationships and dealing with people. And a lot of times we don't understand that people are dealing with stuff internally and they may not mean it, you know what I mean? But this is where they are in that moment and they come off wrong or they do the wrong things and they're regretting it. So we got to learn how to forgive people, forgive yourself, and forgive people. That's a huge thing that people don't get, forgiveness. Like, forgiveness is really not about them. It's only about you. Yeah. And I think when we can get that concept down, we'll learn how to love our neighbor more, you know, when they do stuff, and be able to say, listen, I'm gonna have to tell you about what you did. I might have to put you in your place. You may not like it, but this is coming from in a love position, so that if you go on, if we no longer speak, you can correct your ways. And we got to be able to take it, because if you can dish it, you need to be able to take it.
Got to. Joe asked the question. She said, Trina, were you about to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to chime in, which brings us full circle back to about how do we start fostering that mentality within our children. One thing that I did with my daughters when they were here, we always sat down and ate dinner, and we used that as our round table time. And a lot of times we talk at our kids, but we don't talk really with
our kids.
Have conversation with our children. So you can take those moments when they say, oh, so-and-so is tripping at lunch today, you know, they be talking about how friends are. that's when you can start incorporating those conversations about how to foster relationships. This is what you need to do. You don't need to join in what they doing that. So really think about the times that we're because I know it gets busy. As your mama, you might be a wife, girlfriend, you got dinner, you got homework, and then we just, next thing you know, the whole week that went by, you really ain't talked to your kids. So trying to find those safe spaces and safe moments where you can have that conversation and where they're comfortable with coming to you will help you build that communication, conflict resolution that's needed.
Teachable moment, having teachable moments.
Exactly.
And I think what she said was very important. What she said, taking the time, but not just taking the time, but making sure that you design the time, create the time to have those moments. Like sitting down at dinner is unwaivable. You got to eat every day. So if that is the time that you have designed and you make that your time, you don't have to tell the kids, hey, we having calm time, but it can be just something that in your heart that that's the time that you're taking to communicate. And coming from a kid who didn't get that communication or may not have gotten that communication from people who aren't here, that's something I think I would have held on.
Turn the lights off on me. I'm done with.
I'm gonna read a couple of the comments. So Joe asked, so she said, what are some reasons? Sue said, what are some reasons you think a woman is not willing to co-parent? Why would
so let me say this. I mean, the main reason is really the father, right? The father may not be the best communicator, or depending on how their relationship was. A lot of times, ladies, don't get mad, but it's for the fellas as well. When we are bitter baby mamas and we are bitter because of what these men have done to us mentally, physically, through the years, however long you've been with somebody and they broke you down, you don't want any parts of them. You don't want to deal with them. You don't want to talk to them. You don't care if they come and get their kids or not, or any of that. But we have to start healing ourselves and breaking those cycles. Because if they're a decent man or if they're a good man, they may not have been a good man to you, but if they love their child and they want to be in their child's life and they want to do good for their child, not somebody that that don't have no business about himself, he don't have no structure, he from pillar to post, he out in the streets or whatever. Those are different dynamics. But whenever you have a father that's trying to be a good father to the kids, despite what happened to you guys, you have to allow them to be that. So you have to know how to compartmentalize the traumas that happened to you, heal yourself, and allow him to be a good father, the best that he can be to those children, because the children are affected because of your feelings. It's not their feelings about their father, it's your feelings about the father, and vice versa. The dads, y'all need to stop being bitter baby daddies too, or bitter ex-husbands, or whatever y'all are, because y'all do the same thing women do. Y'all don't go and take care of your child because you still mad at the mama when the kids ain't got nothing to do with what took place in y'all relationship. Because truth be told, before those kids came about and before y'all had those kids, y'all had the red flags. Auntie told y'all shouldn't be together. You knew you wasn't supposed to be with the girl, but hey, you got lost in the sauce and you stayed anyway. And then you can't blame the kids because what you decided to go and do and how long you decided to stay. So why should our children suffer because of what transpired between the adults? We have to start breaking that chain of that toxic family relationship because, oh, I don't like that nigga because what he did to me, and I ain't gonna let his daughter go see him, and vice versa. Like, make it make sense. But then, wait a minute. When it's a problem, then you want to call and make a phone call. But no. Keep that same energy. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is, don't make the kids suffer because of you guys. And that's where I said at the beginning, you have to be able to be in a place where you can heal yourself so that you can have family dynamics that's blended, that's great, that you will be able to allow that to happen and create those boundaries for your children so that the daddies can go and father them, and vice versa. Man, you gotta find that common place and heal yourself as well, because It takes two. We didn't have these kids by ourselves.
Yeah.
We shouldn't raise these kids by ourselves.
Yeah.
Everybody has responsibilities. When my kid's father wanted to come get them, hey, come get your kids. What time you coming? I'm having packed at the door, ready.
Outside.
Ready.
Look, we at the mailbox waiting.
I got a question. So kids in the household, they see what's happening a lot of the time. And sometimes kids take on the feelings of one of the parents, you know, whichever parent they feel like is being wrong. How do you facilitate that relationship when your young kid is saying, I don't want nothing to do with him or her. I don't want to be a part of his, like, I don't
So you know why your kids feel like that? Let me keep it 100 with y'all. Because y'all keep these kids in grown people's conversations. Y'all say anything around these children. One thing my kids never seen was that. I didn't play about that. Like, if I felt like the conversation was about to get heated or something was about to go down, hey, let me call you back. We don't need to even, you know, have this conversation right now. Because the thing is, the problem with our kids today is we always keep them in grown folks' business. You done said your daddy ain't no good. That nigga ain't gonna do nothing. He don't do nothing. He do this. Vice versa. You done talked about the mama to the kids' daughter out, called her all out of her name and all of that. When really the kids shouldn't even be involved in it. So when you want to talk trash or say whatever you want to say or cuss them out, you better do what I did. Go take a walk, baby. I'll be back. And I'm going outside. I'm going to hit the door and I'm going to say what I'm going to say. But the number one rule for me is we don't have conversations in front of my kids. My kids' father know if you want to talk about something, it's going to get heated. If my child's standing there, we won't be having a conversation. Because I don't want them to feel my energy and what I feel for you, you know, to deflect on them. And then they're like, I ain't going to my daddy's house. Bump that nigga. I don't want to see him because he treat my mama. He talking to my mama like this. I don't want to see him. And vice versa. Men have the issue too because women, you dogging the father out to them. And when they go to their daddy house, the girl, daddy's girls especially, they ain't gonna want to come back home with you. They gonna want to stay with their daddy. So we have to stop that. We have to stop that trend of talking about the opposite parent in front of the kids.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Joe asked a question. She said, how do you deal with the financial aspect when co-parenting? I personally feel that is where my ex and I have the biggest problems. So with the financial aspects, so let's say this has been a question on Instagram. This man paid $500 a month for child support, but the kid needs some new shoes. Who paying for him? You know, or whatever it may be.
So let me say this to y'all. $500 is nothing really. You
I just
feel
threw
me?
that number
Like
out there, but you know that.
You know, like if the kid is in sports or something like that, like that's my daughter's AAU is $1,000. So if you sent me $500, that's half of it. I gotta cover that. So if she does need some shoes and she call you and ask you, it's childish to tell your kid. And this is another thing men have to stop doing. Ask your mama because I sent her $500 for your child support. Ask your mama because I sent her $1,000. Well, if she calling you and asking you, she didn't ask me, she asked you. You understand what I'm saying? But however, for me, I just feel like I can only speak from my own experience. Like my kids, I always do for my kids before anybody gonna do for them. I don't wait for you to do nothing for my kids because at the end of the day, if I can't do it, I can't do it. But if they come to you, don't never throw up a dollar bill about what you sent me because that's none of their business. You got sports, you got this, you got that. You might have needed braces, food, all of that. Like sending somebody $500, that's like chump change these days. Like I go to the grocery store and spend $200 and have 5-6 bags. Make it
that part.
But how do you communicate that? Like, is that a conversation that you have with the ex, or is it just something you just kind of? I don't know. So the people that I know,
just
a lot
say,
of people
listen,
know,
I need more money. I might need help, and then you, depending on what type of job you have as a mom, like you know, you might say, well, listen, this month I can't get it. You know, he wants some more shoes. Do you think that you could chip in? I mean, the shoes cost $150, depending on how big your child is or whatever the case may be, or the shoes cost $90. Can we go half? Are you willing to do something? It's all about how you approach it. I feel like the majority of men that's going to do something anyways, if you come at him the right way, he'll be willing to do something extra. It's just some petty niggas, I'm going to say that, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, nah, ask your mama because I sent her $500. But it shouldn't be like that. If your kid calls you for something, you should either say, I'll talk to your mom about it, or let me see what I can do, or yes or no. It's simple. But actually throwing out, oh, well, I gave your mama $500. She could take the $90 out of there. You don't know what I paid for. We just could have went shopping and I had to buy clothes because the kids went through a growth spurt and it just wasn't enough. And then you saying $500 for how much? How many kids? You understand what I'm saying? Because if you got more than one kid, $500 is definitely not enough.
Trinity, you want to add to that?
Yeah. I don't want me to. I have a very different approach to this, and all I can do is share what has worked for me.
Go with your approach. It's different approaches to everything.
Oh, with my daughters. So we agreed because, of course, our situation was a little bit different. He had to be overseas a lot of time.
Yeah.
So they were living with me for 3 years and then would go stay with him for 3 years just to help with the consistency. And they would, you know, go to the other person in the summers. So our agreement has always been whoever the child is living with takes care of them on the day-to-day. And then if there's any big ticket item, anything over $100, we split 50-50. You know, or, you know, anything like that. And it just has worked for us. But I definitely understand that sometimes money is definitely needed.
Yeah.
So, you know, but because we started off that way and it was never me trying to put a dollar amount on what I felt I needed every month, there's never been a time that, regardless of what it was, that I couldn't be like, hey, coming up, Jordan's graduating this year, we got X amount of dollars that we got to get together. How we gonna make it work? And we just communicate and come up with a plan. And it just has worked for us.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
a bit different, but I just feel like as long as that communication is in place and nobody is being taken advantage of on either side, or making the, you know, or putting a extended burden on someone for no reason, then I think it works. But it's just whatever works for each household.
And that's
what I love about this.
It's really about your dynamics and what you already have in place. I did see somebody say, what about the parents who actually use the money for something else? Unfortunately, it's an unfortunate thing when you do have the moms that don't really take care of the kids, but you Gucci down to the socks, or you look good or whatever. I think it's wrong, you know, and unfortunately it's nothing that you can do about it. You know what I mean? Unless they put some type of law in place to say, you know, you're going to have receipts for this and that for this and this and that and da-da-da-da. But you have to use your discernment as a father on what you allow, because if every time your kid comes to you and they're raggedy, or they never have a haircut, or you see how they're dressing and it's bummy, like, you already know what it is, but you don't want your child to be walking around like that. So you may have to step in and do what you're going to do, because unfortunately you're giving support to a baby mama that, you know, she's not mature enough to see that you got to take care of your child with the money that the child is getting. One thing about me, if you see me, you can ask the ladies or anybody else that know me, if I'm dressed, my kid's gonna be dressed, period. I'm not gonna be walking around here put together and my kids have dirty shoes on or whatever, because they're an extension of me. So if you got some Air Force Ones on, they are not going to be dusty. I don't like no dusty white tennis shoes. And you ain't going to be walking around here with your hair looking crazy, you know, or none of that. So that the father can be secure and know that, listen, whether you give me $1 or whether you give me $2,000 or however much, I'm going to take care of my kid regardless. And I'm just a different breed. You know, like I said before, at the end of the day, I'm not waiting on no man to do nothing for me when it comes down to my kids or relying on it, even though you're gonna do it. And fortunately, I was blessed to have two fathers that they do for their kids, and I don't have to pry and say, well, are y'all gonna do whatever, y'all gonna whatever, and beg them. I'm not gonna beg you about nothing. I'm just gonna go and do it. And if I can't afford to buy it, then they won't have it. It's simple for me.
I love it because there's so many different ways to skin this cat. But I think the core of what we said was it comes down to figuring out what works best for you and your situation. But that won't happen without communicating maturely, because I think we said maturely at the beginning, right? Communicating maturely with that other person, and coming up with the right plan that's going to fit your situation. And I think also if you need to amend it, you know, amend it. I'll go back to the comments. So Layla said it takes more for me to hold on to that grudge than the other person, so she lets stuff go. Cassandra said, I wonder why she can't see the comments. Oh, she can see them now. Well, my mom, I gotta stop cussing. People have too much pride. Cassandra said people have too much pride. That's the biggest issue. You know, I think that pride is an issue. It's a lot of that part business you was preaching. Nikita, are you a family counselor? Are you a family? Do you do counseling? Huh?
I said I should, because baby, you don't understand how many people have called me in the midnight hour about counseling. I'm a hairstylist, but I counsel behind the chair. Like I said, I am an ordained minister, so I can counsel anybody. Y'all need to be married or whatever, I can do that too. But no, seriously, I just feel like in the moment that I was going through the things that I was going through in my life, and this is just a testimony for somebody, I always question God, like, God, why me? Why are you taking me through this? Like, I waited for certain things until I got married. I waited to have a kid when I got married. I did the right thing, so why me? But later on, God had to reveal to me that, listen, you didn't understand then while you were going through, but look at all the people that, you know, you blessed their lives through what you went through, helping them in their marriages, helping them save their marriages, helping them in their relationships, helping them bring back their families, just by you counseling them and letting them know, like, listen, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it seems. I don't care who said what, but with God, anything is possible. And when you want something bad enough, you're going to have it. If it's worth having, you're going to fight for it. A lot of times we give up too soon. We give up on our families because we think the grass is green on the other side. And baby, I'm telling you, it's brown. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, a lot of times people's perceptions of marriage and relationships are so distorted by social media. I'm telling you, sometimes, y'all, I just wish we would just have a crash and people would just get back to family and family dynamics, because we're missing it. And social media is a relationship killer. And when I say that, I don't just mean boyfriend and girlfriend, I mean your friends. Because let me say this to y'all. If we have a friendship or a relationship and I get mad at you or whatever, I'm not going to tell your business or put your business out in the street, and vice versa. If I'm your ex, I'm not putting your business out in the street and saying, yeah, let me tell y'all about this nigga and what he did and what he is and what he ain't. It is what it is. It's not y'all business. I'm not living my life for y'all. I'm not living my life for show. My life is not on display for y'all. If y'all want some word, y'all want some word of encouragement, y'all want nucky if you butt, whatever it is that you want, that's what I'm going to help you with. But I just feel like we have to get back to the basics, because we don't have it anymore, because everything is about a show, and people are running around here being counterfeit individuals, and you're not walking in your authentic purpose, or you're not being your authentic self, because everything is about wanting to be like somebody else or better than this person or in competition, when really and truly, this journey is your journey alone. No matter what it is, even if it's your relationship, it's your relationship. That's why when I marry people, I say, keep people and keep your family out of your business. And I mean that, because at the end of the day, everybody gonna have all kind of opinions, but you gotta sleep with that man.
Right.
You gotta sleep with that woman. So why expose yourself? It's simple, people. We gotta get back to the basics.
And not only that, as we talked about before, not all of those relationships were healthy relationships either.
No.
So we're going to people a lot of the times who have broken relationships themselves. So I'll read Anna's comment. She said, "Good evening. I am not with my daughter's dad. He is in Chicago and I'm in Florida. He is not on the birth certificate. I have not pushed the issue for child support. I got my baby. I do get pressure from family saying he gets off too easy. I'd rather not deal with him." I feel that. I mean, Nina says that all the time too. Like, at the end of the day, I don't want you to come back thinking that I'm not gonna ask you for nothing.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna I don't want you coming in and out thinking that you got any type of control. So I understand that.
I understand that too. I mean, it's all about, you too. At the end of the day, I do tell people, if it was a toxic relationship and that the individual, is not going to be best, then, it is what it is. And personally, if he's not fighting, if a man don't fight for his kid, it's not going to be a revolving door. You're not just going to be able to just come in and out my kid's life. So you there from day one, you got to be there to the end, period. But it's not going to be when you feel like it or when you feel like being a dad. So if that is your situation, then you as the custodial parent, the mother, because let me tell y'all, if we're not married, men, y'all have to understand this. If we're not married, we have full rights to the kids. You have to go to the courts and you have to legitimize your child in order to have certain parental rights. A lot of people don't know that. So you got to know your rights, know your parental rights. Now, if we married, that's different because, they look at it as like we married, then we handle that then. But however, if a parent don't want to be a parent, you can't force them to be that either. You have to protect the child at all costs. That's what I feel.
Cassandra had a different perspective, and I definitely understand. She said she feel like your kid may be missing out when the monetary burden is all on you. If the monetary burden is all on you and you could be getting help from that other parent, but you're not, your kids are suffering or their kids may be missing out on something. I think that's what Cassandra's perspective was on that. And
listen, at the end of the day, like I tell people, if you can't come to an agreement that both of you guys agree, like you have some men and they say, well, don't put me on child support, I'm gonna pay you money, and they, they're a man of their word and that you can trust them with that, then fine. If not, that's why we have a legal system. You got to utilize that, male and female. Because listen, if you paying child support, you got rights to your children. You see what I'm saying? And vice versa. So my thing is, if I don't want to deal with you and ask you for a case quarter, I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to take you to the child support people, and I'm going to get whatever I can get, and then I'll put the rest to it, because half of the time, most men, they don't want to be on child support, and then they're going to go make the bare minimum to say, okay, this is all I can afford. So again, if you want to do it that way, do it that way. If not, if you don't want to worry about it because you know that they're not going to do whatever they got.
So we're kind of getting tight on time, but my mama wrote a comment, so I gotta read it and see what. So she said, "I really like keeping an open relationship and communication between the parents, and I will always do for my kids first and be grateful if the father is able to help. Y'all can speak freely." That means I can cuss if I want to. I also agree with the social media crap. It was a lot of comments. I had to just move on. Michelle Roberts, I gotta say, I gotta read Auntie Rob. What she say? She said, "Does anybody consider the child support if court order is based on known income? Do you think custodial parents should ask before adding a monetary burden to the non-custodial parent?"
Yeah,
I need to read that again.
No.
Okay.
Like I said, at the end of the day, if you don't have enough, you can always communicate it and say, well, hey, I paid for this, that, and the fourth. You can show receipts and you can show what you paid for, and the kid want to shoot for $150. And listen, do we make it happen for them or not? Can we make it happen together? I'm just saying you're not putting everything on the non-custodial parent. You're saying, I'm willing to help with whatever I can help with. And if he say no, hey baby, you can't get the shoes. We'll just wait on the check next month, and then I'll get them then. You know, I'll move some other things around. I make sure I prioritize the fact that I need to take $150 or $90 or however much the shoes are and pay for your shoes, because also we do need to consider that if this is all he can afford, you know, that's all he can afford. And we have to consider that. You know, we can't just say, oh, you a broke nigga because you can't go get your shoes, your son or your daughter no $90 shoes, but he gave you what he could give you. Then you need to make it work. You need to explain to your kid, like, listen, mommy can't get it today, but I'll get it next month, or I'll get it at a later date, but I'm going to work on it. Just communicate.
Yeah. Any lasting comments from you, Train?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, the laughter.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing when you get different perspectives and people's experiences. Just try to find ways to make our lives better, make our relationships better, our children's lives better. I think it's wonderful. I enjoyed it. You know, and at the end of the day, God is my source.
That's right.
So if any and all else things fail, when I say my kids have never lacked,
and that's a blessing.
That's a blessing. So, and you know, so think if anybody who out there tight, go to your source. You know, take the stress off of. Sometimes we put too much stress on the wrong people, going to the wrong people on some things.
When you
go on up.
And I just want to tell people that, you know, at the end of the day, whatever you want is possible. Nothing with God is impossible, but everything with him is possible. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what's broken. I don't care what needs to be fixed. Anything that you're lacking, when you do go to the source first and you acknowledge him first, he will supply all of our needs. He's given us a blueprint. There are blueprints to our lives, and he's given it to us by people in their situations. And I'm here to tell you that co-parenting and having a non-toxic family dynamics is possible, you know, but it's all about what you put out there, and it's all about what you want. Trust me, I have been on my knees many a nights. Things haven't always been perfect, but you know, God has made a way and he has answered many of my prayers. So I don't want you guys to lose hope or lose focus. It might be hot right now, but everything is going to simmer down. I will tell you that. So everything is going to be okay. Just don't lose faith. That's what I'll say. Don't lose faith in a process. Trust the process. And know that in the end, God has you and he has your back, period.
Man. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all pull up for us tonight on the Wind Down. I appreciate both of y'all, man, for bringing this conversation. And all the people that come down to the Wind Down, we do this every Wednesday. We was doing it on Instagram. We're going to discuss how we want to move forward with it. But I definitely enjoyed the conversation tonight. And everybody who was a part of this conversation. Thank you guys for being here, Nikita. It was just an honor, and I really, really appreciate having you here. Back. Hey, come back. Come back. Hey, we do this every Wednesday. Next Wednesday, please come back. I'm going to be giving training on real estate. We're going to talk about the legacy bank loan, NAFCA, USDA, VA loans, all of these loans that offer you zero down payment, and talk about what you need to get down payment assistance, because we're about elevating here at the Wind Down, and we want everybody here to have the tools and the resources to start to build wealth through real estate or whatever other platform you want to use. But next week, we're going to talk about real estate. I will be in Douglasville next week. So, hey, hello. We outside.
Wind Down Wednesday live in the park.
It's gonna be live.
If you guys are interested in trying to do Wind Down Wednesday live, we can try to set something up. I can bring one of my partner agents that I work with in Atlanta. She was on here earlier. I'm not sure if she stayed with us, Angel. And I can bring a local lender there that can talk about some of the down payment stuff that's going on for you out there. But I need to know that it's something that you want before I spend my time away from my family doing it. So something that you guys are interested in and you feel like you'll benefit from, I will set it up. But hey, we gonna be live anyway. So come back next week. It's gonna be a great conversation. And I'm really, really excited. Thank you ladies again for being here.
For having us.
I'll check